Is it actually possible to have joy amidst all of our sorrow and suffering? From a biblical perspective, through a relationship with Jesus Christ, the answer to that is yes. Although we don't understand, although there aren't any easy answers of why we suffer, the bottom line is this: in Jesus Christ, understanding God is in control, there is hope that can bring you joy amidst your suffering. Joining me now live via telephone is Joel Freeman. Joel is a business consultant, he's a coach, he's an author, as well as he's a good friend. Joel, welcome to It's Your Call.
Rob, it's great to be with you. Great to hear your voice.
Likewise, Joel, and I'm so glad that you can take the time. I know you're a busy man and busy schedule. And before we actually get into the book, Joel, do you mind just letting our audience know exactly what you do? Because you do a number of things, but just sort of give us a bird's eye view of all that Joel Freeman's involved with.
My wife, when we're in a public setting, out to dinner or something like that, someone says, "What do you do, Joel?" My wife laughs and says, I'm anxious to hear this too.
Oh, really?
I actually I grew up in Alberta, Canada, and left home when I was 17. I just started hitchhiking around North America. I don't know how many thousands of miles I put on my thumb, but became a long-haired hippie, a dope-smoking fool, and had a conversion experience in 1972, September 10th. And my whole life turned around. Signed up for Bible school the very next day. And what occurred from there was I began to get some real purpose in my life. And I pastored for a number of years, became chaplain for the Washington Bullets, the Wizards in the NBA.
Yeah.
Pastored. Stopped pastoring in 1993, decided to take my pastor's heart to the business world, and since that time started my own company, the Freeman Institute, which is a company, I guess the byline, the brand for the company is 7 words, dealing with people who drive you crazy. And I do a lot of speaking and training. In fact, I'm right now in Chicago, tomorrow working with a corporation in Chicago. And I head back home tomorrow evening to back to Maryland. But I do a lot of different things, write books, have 7 books in 28 languages now, and became, after 5 years of research, developed the world's first and only full-size 3-dimensional replica of the famous Rosetta Stone.
Okay.
I have 4 kids, ages 24 now to 31, and my wife, Shirley, she just started a company about a year ago with 2 of her best friends, a catering business. So we got quite a bit of things going. My wife and I, we travel quite a bit together, and
Wow.
taking my kids all over the world. And I do what I'm passionate about, realizing that the good is the enemy of the best. And so I always look for the best things that really excite me and help other people.
Wow. Well, Joel, one of the many things you do, as you mentioned, you're an author. And you wrote the book, When Life Isn't Fair, Making Sense Out of Our Suffering. Now, let me ask the big question. Why the book? What motivated you to write it?
Rob, that book, I'll tell you, the first edition of that book, the title was God Is Not Fair. And the title now, of course, is When Life Isn't Fair, Making Sense Out of Suffering. It really came out of a very dark time in my life. And some things are just real personal that it's hard to put into words, to put it out there for public consumption. But I was, my Ph.D. work is in psychology, and counseling people, Rob, I'll tell you, I just have heard so many different stories where I've looked in the eyes of people that I really wondered, how can people handle the type of pain that they're dealing with? And I've experienced situations where people have committed suicide, where people have just tried to numb the pain with all kinds of alcohol, drug addiction, sex addiction, workaholism, all kinds of different things. In fact, that workaholism has probably been the thing that I've used in my life to dull the pain in my life.
Okay.
But what happens is that we all have to come around and ultimately face it head on, and that's hard work.
Yeah.
So it really came out of personal experience, and then also counseling with people and working with people through their situations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a verse, Rob, Galatians, actually two verses, Galatians chapter 6.
Mm.
It says, first of all, bear ye one another's burdens.
Yeah.
That's in the King Jimmy version.
Yeah.
And then it says, verse or two later, it says, bear your own burdens. And I think that there's, you know, one of the telling situations here is that we all have to deal with our pain. You know, I can't go crazy for somebody else, and they can't go crazy for me.
Yeah.
I can't deal with the icy grip of bitterness for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with the siren call of suicide for somebody else. You know, that's a very lonely journey. And for those watching or listening at this moment, you know, the issue is that it is very lonely, but there are people that can help, and there are resources that can help through tough times.
Yeah. Well, Joel, I didn't know that you changed the title of the book. Can I ask the question, why did you change it from the original title?
Well, I switched publishers.
Okay.
The first publisher, really, we kind of fought about the title, God is Not Fair, because, but I lobbied and filibustered for it because I do believe that God is not fair. That if he was fair, we'd all go to hell. And he's just, he's merciful, but he's not fair, because fair, I think, is an earthbound perspective. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that we all struggle with this whole issue of fairness. Every family hears that it's not fair. How come so-and-so gets to play till midnight and I have to come in at 10 o'clock? You know, you're not fair. You know, I wish I had them as parents. And we all hear that stuff. It's in every single household, and we all struggle with it. And I think it's something that is earthbound. And once we understand, come to grips with that in our own lives, because it's tyrannical. I mean, it just whips us around, this whole fairness fixation.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where I was going with it. And then the next publisher, they felt that let's go with a more bland title. So.
Okay.